Well, I'm faced with accommodation problem. I possibly have to leave accommodation I'm in, which is lovely and affordable, and so I'm thinking, how best can I move if I have to? How do I handle this situation? Well, first of all, it has to be you look to God. I mean, you don't look to all the things that are reasonable or unreasonable. You look to God. And you have, if you like, an Ebenezer, things to remind you of why you're looking to God. In my case, I'm 77. And God has provided fantastically over the years. Every piece of accommodation I've ever had. Has it come to me because of my competence? I don't think so. It's come to me because God has me placed in somewhere where I am provided for. You know, from my earliest incompetence as a newborn baby. In fact, even in the womb, of course. And which parents He chose for me to be in. Did I choose such? Was I the author of? I don't think so. By His grace and goodness, I've been so utterly provided for. Then we think also from, how do I best want to go through this current apparent challenge? Well, it would be good if in hindsight I could say, I trusted God all the way because of His goodness to me in the past and all He is to us all. So it was no stress at all because I was utterly trusting in Him. That would be my ideal, wouldn't it? Well, I can practice that now. So, to the point. The real point. I'm trusting Him for my life every day, aren't I? My health, provision, finance, comforts, company, everything. I own that it's because of Him. Shall He not provide now? Of course He will. No need to put it in the negative, is there? Of course He will. Is this some unreasonable stance to take? Well, no. Look how incredibly He's provided for me over all these decades. Do you see? The ideal is that I trust Him utterly and love Him all the more. Do you see? He is driving. He is the creator and master of all. And I have access to this loving kindness because of His grace and goodness. This is not a presumption. He's exercised this from the beginning, and I trust for all. How much more then for my narrow self? With whom I've had the experience So my ideal way of going through this difficulty, as the world might see it, is to claim most fervently, most earnestly, and most devotedly that there is no problem at all. And I would rather die, which is considered so serious to people, than not trust this. As a way of saying to God how thankful I am for all that he has provided in the past. I could say then that this moment has brought me to my senses, just how utterly dependent I have been on him from the beginning, and will be to the end. There is no beginning and there is no end with God. I know that, but you know the way I'm talking, don't you? You see what I mean, because you're Gnostic, aren't you? We talk in pictures, but we mean in the spiritual reality, the reality of God. And I will hold no other. It is my joy because of his goodness to me. Always. You see, the ideal is to trust in God. And I want to take that ideal with all my heart, and I might say all my necessity. There is no other. You could say then in pictures, I'm not looking to man or circumstances. I'm looking to a relationship with our wonderful God. And I might say, it will give me a love and kindness and empathy for all who face what would otherwise be worry and concern. Were there no such thing as a loving God? And were they as alone as you can feel in this world of the transitory? In other words, I wish to be the hope that will rescue you from the serious things that you would otherwise be facing if you didn't know God. But you, by his grace and kindness, do know God. Have thought of him. Have looked for him each day. Have trusted, have practiced. Have come to him with all your heart and need, and had the joy of finding that he has provided and brought you through to this moment. Why should he not continue to do so? Except, of course, he'd take you. And can't you trust him that it will still be good, because it has been for so long? So we put our trust in God. We find our trust is in God, more to the point, because he gives it to us. Simply the situation itself is the answer. You can say to yourself, this causes me to trust all the more in you. Isn't that just wonderful, Dad? I'm driven by circumstances that you have created, Father. I'm driven into your arms. You are writing the story of my life, and I am so glad. Love you, Heavenly Dad. So I thank you for this difficulty, as the world might see it. It's not a difficulty with you. With you, Heavenly Father, it's nothing but abundant blessing and joy, because you are with me where I am, always. It is written, and it is said, I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Thank you, Heavenly God. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Heavenly Dad, may my mind be stayed on you. Can you keep me firmly mindful of you? Of course you can. You're God. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. So I wish to go through this situation of a change of accommodation in joy and expectation, in overwhelming trust in the love and goodness of our Dad. And I so want you to be able to live this way too, with all my heart. And so I produced what the world might see as an absurd number of recordings. To that end, to tell you and others that there's a way of coping, of living, that is life abundant, life eternal, yours with your Heavenly Dad and all the host of heaven, and that he loves and cares for you and has always. And that's why you're experiencing the life you're in, because it is so incredibly valuable to you, that you may know God, your Heavenly Dad, and live forever in his perfect company and family, in what we call heaven, for we are children. What else can we call it? Love you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you for your provision, your endless provision that we experience. May we love you as we should. May we be a joy to you, Father. May we be a blessing to you and all that you love, all that we love. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.